Story 1. I unconsciously act whenever I am faced with other people and even have different personas for them. No, I don't know why this happens, but it's like I have no control over it. For example, I'll be silly around one person, fearful around the next, petulant around another, and have no idea why. It really messes with my head. Story 2. Like that one meme of Sarah Paulson in bed staring at her phone. Edit. By making this comment, I just realized that Kristen Wiig and Sarah Paulson are two different people. Story 3. Behind the scenes, I have a curious youthful outlook on life. I like to contemplate, rationalize, and define. I also push myself almost every day in fitness and other personal goals. However, I can be a bit messy and lazy at times. Usually, I make a mess for a few days and then clean it up in one big effort. Story 4. I am someone who puts forth a lot of mental energy when I am alone to ensure I can show up as my best self when I am not. As an introvert, this takes a lot of effort. Story 5. The real me. I struggle with having to mask in front of everyone because I want safety. When I'm finally alone, I can be myself and embrace my differences without having to put up a front. I do all the things I want to do when I'm alone. I'm also messy and say mean things out loud that I would never want to actually act on or deal with. Alone time is rare, so I get it all out at once. Story 6. When completely alone without anyone being near or coming close. Sloppy and dirty. Like farting, scratching, belching, pooping with the door open, and picking your nose and eating boogers dirty. Story 7. I am myself. I'm a very principled and straightforward person who doesn't put on a charade to be liked or accepted. I don't do things to look trendy. I don't conform to expectations, and I will not tolerate anyone who is entitled or foolish. I am the same person in front of people and when nobody's watching. Obviously, that can burn bridges and make many people turn away, but it doesn't matter. I like solitude and being alone anyway because I find humans fake, insufferable, and utterly foolish at times. Story 8. When nobody is watching, I create my own world where the blanket is my throne, snacks are my loyal subjects, and every song is a heartfelt karaoke performance that deserves an Oscar. In that realm, I'm the star of my show, unapologetically epic in my solitude. We all have that version of ourselves, reminding us that fame and judgment aren't driven by an audience, just by our fearless joy in being who we truly are, even if it's just with the walls as my audience. Story 9. I talk to my cats a lot, and they answer me right back. We have extended conversations, and I respect their opinions. Of course, I talk to myself too. Sometimes I have a lot to say, and I can be opinionated, especially in politics. I like to color, read, sculpt plague Dr. Figures, do puzzles, and watch certain paranormal shows on YouTube. I love music of all sorts, but Ghost is my favorite band. I like to bake. Lately, I've been contemplating my own mortality, as I am almost 60. My husband has been gone almost 20 years, and while death doesn't frighten me at all, I worry about my adult children, my darling grandson, and the future of the United States. But I want to see my husband again. I've missed him so much. If I don't cross over, then I want to be a ghost and haunt people in a pleasant and mysterious way. Story 10. A 32-year-old father of 3, 1 biological and 2 stepchildren. I'm quiet, exhausted, and functionally depressed. I try to enjoy my hobbies. They all feel hollow most days, and I struggle to fall asleep most nights, then wake up every few hours. Story 11. I'm the same person under all circumstances. I don't have the strength or energy to be a different person for everyone anymore. What you see on Reddit is the same thing you'll see on Facebook or Blue Sky or at the store or hanging out on my couch. I'm me, unapologetically unfiltered and unafraid. Probably why I have no friends. Story 12. Depressed when alone and happy when I'm not. Which is worrisome. Is it genuine happiness I experience or a cover to keep people from questioning me? The world may never know. Story 13. A trusted and well-liked individual with diverse interests who loves research and truly cares about humanity. Life is better when toxic people don't have the opportunity to affect me. Story 14. A songwriter of songs that would get most people condemned for being completely insane, but often my rhymes are on point and my melodies are catchy. I've never studied music, but if I had, I hope you're ready for the Grammy-winning songs about ketchup and funky mutts. A song I'm likely singing to myself while making a sandwich. Story 15. I sing and dance, and I say really absurd phrases that make no sense out loud. I also make lots of hand gestures and facial expressions when I talk to myself, but unfortunately, I do that when people are watching. They don't just watch. They stare in amazement at the conversation I am having with myself. Story 16. You know in The Sims when your main sim goes to work, and instead of using that time to make your least favorite sim level up or make friends, you just let them stand in the kitchen listening to music for 7 hours on 4 times speed? That's me. Story 17. Bored mostly and mull around. Not bored because I have nothing to do, but because I'm tired of how mundane life is. I'm tired of the same routine, just a different day. Story 18. Really just a grumpier version of me. I still love talking and talk to my cats. I still do all the things I do with people around, but I just have less patience and am easier to annoy by random accidental inconveniences. I'm talking about dropping a screw behind the fridge and then cursing. Story 19. I'm the best beatboxer ever, especially in the shower. I stand like Captain Morgan when I'm heating something up in the microwave. I switch legs every 30 seconds. I turn the heat on for 2 reasons. If it gets colder than 32 outside or if I'm going to have company. I'm a refrigerator grazer. I had a cold pork chop and a big chug of milk for breakfast and leftover coffee from yesterday. I never walk around my apartment nude. I don't know why, I just don't. Story 20. Depressed and I feel unenergetic because of my injury. I tend to just focus on what I want. I smile when I want to, and I don't smile when I don't want to. Story 21. Incredibly boring. I will hyper-focus on an activity and shut out the world. When I am not taking care of people or interacting with the public, that is my me time, and I am very protective of it. Story 22. When nobody is watching, I'm just me. Raw, real, and a little messy. I let down all the facades. I might binge on my favorite snacks, have a heartfelt cry or two, laugh at my own silly mistakes, and even flirt outrageously with the idea of freedom. It's in those unguarded moments that I reconnect with my true self, the one who's not trying to be perfect for anyone but herself. Story 23. Either sad, fully engaged in something like a show, or replaying social events that I screwed up, and thinking more like conspiring ideas about why my coworkers and family probably all hate me. Story 24. I am a very blunt person and generally unconcerned about what others think of me, perhaps to a fault. I am not really any different depending on who I am with. Story 25. A depressed mess. I appear relatively well-adjusted and strong around people. Smiling, making jokes, doing my job relatively well, functioning well. But the minute a door closes or I'm in my car, or I leave somewhere and I'm alone, I instantly crumble. I want to cry all the time. I fret and worry and spiral so deep that I just want to constantly cry. All the time. Story 26. Honestly, the best version of myself in my opinion. I'm pretty sure I have some sort of social disorder, and being around people drains me so fast, and I feel anxious and zoned out so much. When I'm alone, I'm so happy. I sing and dance around, play with my kitties, laugh out loud at funny jokes, crack jokes and tell stories to myself, think deeply, read, and write. I feel so free and creative when my space is all for me, and I feel so trapped and limited around others. Story 27. I'm probably insane. Usually, I'm just lying in bed watching TV or YouTube while I wait to eat or die. Occasionally, I'm getting angry and considering murdering people. I would also say I'm a little lonely but peaceful. Story 28. The human version of a raccoon. Dress up in weird mismatched clothes, eat weird things, burrow under the blanket, hair in a weird knot. Sometimes hiss, ready to protect said weird food with my life. Story 29. Genuinely the same as I am around people. I have autism, and when I was younger I used to mask in front of others, but I've managed to stop myself from doing that now. It's very freeing to no longer pretend to be a normal person, plus my friends and family couldn't care less that I'm quite strange. Story 30. loud and weird. I love expressing myself through drag, music, and dance. I love being able to do wild makeup and dance dramatically. I love singing to myself and being able to perform without fear of judgment. I also love practicing choreography in the shower. Story 31. I am an old man who talks to the cats, dogs, horses, and cattle on my farm. I have a few that even talk back. I remain quiet and don't talk to people, keeping to myself and saving my thoughts for the animals. Story 32. Free, goofy, sometimes lonely. I can entertain myself for hours without social media. I do think I take care of myself a little less when there is not someone else to care for by my side, like cooking, for example. Story 33. When I sleep, I dream of doing things that may not even be humanly possible or safe. I wake up thanking H.R. Geiger for inspiration. I have idle daydreams of modifying human bodies to suit my whims. Consent is a crucial part of my fantasies. However, it is probably never going to happen. I respect people greatly and am really only attracted to humans older than I am. Nothing illegal, just incredibly weird and what other humans would often consider gross. My experiences in the BDSM world have given me a unique perspective on human wants and desires and have actually helped me in my day-to-day life. I get good reads on people just walking into a business meeting. Story 34. Honestly, I'm always crying. I'm really, really sad and depressed in general, and that's just me since I was a young child. I'm very lonely, even though there are a lot of people around me who try to speak to me. I have bipolar type 2 disorder, but nobody knows. I crave romantic love, and I crave deep bonds. I think this is why I'm constantly crying. I'd really love to get a significant other or a person who actually cares about me and can love me in all ways. But when people ask me if I'm crying, I tell them my sunscreen is in my eyes or something like that. And I'm constantly joking around and laughing. So I guess when nobody is watching, I'm the secret depressed person. I can't wait for this to be over. Story 35. I talk to myself out loud more than what is deemed as normal in my opinion. Then again, I'm not too sure what normal is. I genuinely repeat jokes out loud to myself, which I make in my head just to laugh louder. I make up the silliest scenarios in my head to fictional characters I like, such as Moomin and Abed Nadir, then skip around my room like a hyperactive toddler while giggling. No clue what's going on up there in that brain of mine. Story 36. I'm very plain and uninteresting. I basically spend all my personal time watching movies I've never seen before and drinking Diet Dr. Pepper. In other words, I'm so basic I wear an extra medium. Story 37. I just go about my day with a big smile and a positive attitude because I just don't like being around people unless I have to. I guess I'm more conservative when people watch me. Story 38. In person, I am hopeful if anxious. Alone, I am hateful and anxious. I'm not a religious man. I find more comfort in viewing the world through Dungeons and Dragons mechanics. So, to put it in terms I more align with, I worry that the Dungeon Master is going to force me to rewrite my moral alignment from chaotic good to neutral evil if I continue down this path, and I worry that there's no coming back from it. Story 39. I am honestly my own best companion. I have family and friends who love me, but I am happiest when I'm alone. So, to answer your question, I'd say I am my best self. I just pass gas a little more often. Story 40. Sundowner, when I am alone I become Sundowner, but instead of running a mercenary organization, I run an empire either in space or the medieval era. Story 41. Oddly quick and organized. While in public, I enjoy giving off a sense of disorganization, mixed with a bad case of giving everyone stress-related injuries because I walk slowly everywhere. I mean everywhere. But I always get there on time. I just spend 20 minutes walking instead of stressing half running and walking in 10. Story 42. I kind of turn into a radio or soundboard. Random little songs here and there, beeping and cartoon character sounds out of nowhere. My closest friends have seen it, and I doubt anyone would be surprised, but I'd also rather that people think I'm semi-normal. Story 43. Quiet and calculating. Never let them know what you are thinking, and do not let them get under your skin. The best piece of advice I have ever heard was to keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Story 44, more nerdy than some may think based on how I present myself. Outside, I wear Lululemon and Garage. Then at home, I'm binge watching some anime shows. Story 45. When people are watching, I tend to keep to myself, sometimes talk, sometimes not. I get bullied a lot. When nobody is watching online, I'm very sociable and I actually stand up to bullies. In real life, though, I just let them bully me because if I say something back, they laugh at it. Story 46. I like to plan and fantasize about killing people I hate. I want to do as many of them as possible, as I can only do it one time in exchange for a one-way ticket to jail or even death row. The planning and just thinking about doing it one day is relaxing on stressful days. But then I snap out of it and am very torn up because my dad is still here, and my life and future are very bright. Honestly, unless my dad dies suddenly or one day I somehow manage to lose my amazing life, I will get to be free of my psychotic compulsions and do it, but I doubt it. Those people are only alive because my dad's existence is holding me back, essentially. Whether they get to live another day depends on how good my life is getting. Story 47. Very funny. I like spending time with myself. I'd say the stupidest and funniest things to myself that not only could but definitely would get me incarcerated if it went public. Story 48. Usually curled up reading my latest book, baking, binge watching anime, or video calling my friend and having the most chaotic conversation humanly possible. Story 49. I'm 60 and have never smoked marijuana with or in front of another person. Beyond that and watching adult content alone, I'm exactly the same person. Not sure if that's good or bad. Story 50. I'm that person who dances around the house like no one's there, singing into a hairbrush microphone on full blast. The true superstar of my own one-person show,